Most people believe overthinking is something they need to fix. They tell themselves to stop worrying, stop analyzing, stop replaying every conversation in their head. But what if that's the wrong goal? What if overthinking isn't the real problem, and the real problem is simply not knowing how to use the way your mind naturally works? Have you ever noticed tiny changes in someone's voice that everyone else ignored? Replayed a conversation for hours, wondering if you missed something important, or sensed that something felt wrong long before anyone admitted it? Most people would call that overthinking. Psychology offers a different perspective. Many people who overthink share hidden strengths that often go completely unnoticed. The ability to recognize patterns, to think before reacting, to understand emotions more deeply than most people. In this video, we'll explore 7 psychological signs that your overthinking may actually be one of your greatest strengths. And by the end, you may stop seeing your mind as something working against you, and start seeing it as one of your greatest advantages. Before we explore the 7 signs, we need to challenge one of the biggest myths about overthinking. Most people assume that thinking too much automatically leads to weakness. They believe confident people make quick decisions, never doubt themselves, and rarely question what they see. But psychology suggests something much more interesting. The difference isn't always how much people think. It's how they respond to their thoughts. Some people notice a problem, then become trapped inside endless assumptions. Others notice the exact same problem, pause, gather evidence, and think with clarity instead of fear. The first loses peace of mind. The second gains wisdom. That's why overthinking itself isn't the enemy. Your thoughts are simply information. They don't become dangerous until you believe every story your mind creates without questioning it. The 7 signs in this video aren't proof that overthinking is always healthy. They're evidence that, when guided by awareness instead of anxiety, the same mind that once felt like a burden can become one of your greatest psychological strengths. Sign 1. You notice what other people miss. One of the strongest hidden signs of an overthinking mind is an unusual ability to notice details that most people completely overlook. Walk into a room, and while everyone else notices the conversation, the music, or the decorations, your attention naturally goes somewhere deeper. You notice the hesitation before someone answers, the smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes, the sudden change in someone's tone, or the friend who says, "I'm fine," but somehow doesn't sound fine at all. These tiny observations may seem meaningless on their own, but your brain instinctively connects them into a larger pattern. That's why people are often surprised when you sense that something is wrong before anyone says a word. The challenge is remembering that observation is not the same as conclusion. Your greatest strength isn't simply noticing more. It's learning to stay curious long enough to separate real evidence from imagined stories. Sign 2. You feel more than you show. Another hidden strength of people who overthink is that they often experience emotions far more deeply than they ever reveal. On the outside, you may seem calm. You smile. You listen. You tell people you're doing fine. But inside, your mind is still processing conversations, expressions, and emotions long after everyone else has moved on. You don't just hear what people say. You notice how they say it. You sense disappointment hidden behind a smile. You recognize sadness beneath a simple "I'm okay." That emotional awareness allows you to understand people in ways many never can. But it also comes with a challenge. If you're not careful, you'll begin carrying emotions that were never yours to carry. The strongest overthinkers learn an important lesson. Empathy doesn't mean absorbing everyone else's pain. It means understanding their feelings while protecting your own peace. And that's when sensitivity stops feeling like a weakness, and quietly becomes wisdom. Sign 3. You think before you speak. People who overthink are often mistaken for being quiet. But silence isn't always a sign of insecurity. Sometimes, it's a sign of careful thinking. Before you speak, your mind naturally considers different possibilities. You think about how your words might be understood, whether they'll help or hurt, whether this is the right moment to say them. While others react immediately, You often pause. That pause allows you to notice perspectives that faster thinkers may completely miss. When you finally share your thoughts, they're usually more thoughtful, balanced, and intentional. The danger comes when careful thinking turns into perfectionism. You begin editing every sentence before anyone else can hear it. Eventually, the fear of saying something imperfect becomes stronger than your desire to speak at all. Real confidence isn't waiting for perfect words. It's trusting that honest words are enough. Because your voice doesn't become valuable when it's flawless. It becomes valuable when it's genuine. Sign 4. You naturally look for patterns. One of the most overlooked strengths of an overthinking mind is its ability to connect information that seems unrelated. While most people see individual events, you often see the pattern behind them. A change in someone's behavior. A repeated habit. A conversation that suddenly feels different. Your mind instinctively asks, what do these pieces mean together? This ability helps you recognize problems early, understand people more deeply, and sometimes predict situations before they unfold. But pattern recognition has a hidden risk. When uncertainty appears, your brain may start connecting dots that were never truly connected. A delayed reply becomes rejection. A serious expression becomes disapproval. A single mistake becomes proof that you've failed. The strongest overthinkers learn to slow down before accepting every conclusion their mind creates. They collect evidence before believing the story. Because pattern recognition is a remarkable strength. It becomes a weakness only when imagination replaces reality. And learning the difference is what transforms awareness into wisdom. Sign 5. You ask questions most people never think to ask. People who overthink are naturally curious. They rarely accept the first explanation they hear. Instead, they keep asking questions. Why did that happen? What am I missing? Is there another way to look at this? To some people, this may seem like unnecessary overanalysis. But psychologically, it's often a sign of deeper thinking. Your mind isn't satisfied with simple answers. It wants to understand the reason beneath the surface. That curiosity helps you learn faster, solve complex problems, and recognize perspectives that others may never consider. The challenge is knowing when to stop searching. Not every question has an immediate answer. Not every mystery needs to be solved today. Emotionally strong thinkers understand that curiosity should create clarity, not endless uncertainty. They ask meaningful questions. Then they become comfortable with not knowing everything right away. Because true wisdom isn't asking more questions than everyone else. It's recognizing which questions are worth holding onto, and which ones are meant to be released. Sign 6. You learn more from your mistakes than most people. One of the hidden strengths of people who overthink is that they rarely repeat the same mistake without learning something from it. After an experience, your mind naturally begins reflecting. What worked? What didn't? What could I have done differently? While this habit can sometimes become exhausting, it also creates steady personal growth. Many people move from one experience to the next without stopping to learn. You pause. You reflect. You look for the lesson hidden inside the discomfort. That's how wisdom is built. The danger comes when reflection turns into self-criticism. Instead of learning from the past, you begin punishing yourself for it. Emotionally strong people know the difference. Reflection asks, what can I learn? Self-criticism asks, what's wrong with me? Only one of those questions leads to growth. Because the strongest minds don't become better by avoiding mistakes. They become better by allowing every mistake to teach them something valuable. Sign 7. You care more about understanding than being right. Perhaps the strongest hidden sign of an overthinking mind is that you're often more interested in understanding the truth than protecting your ego. When new information challenges your beliefs, you don't immediately reject it. You think about it. You compare it with what you already know. You quietly ask yourself, what if there's something I haven't considered? That willingness to question your own thinking is a rare form of intellectual humility. It allows you to grow while others remain trapped defending opinions they've never examined. Of course, this can also become another form of overthinking. You may begin doubting every decision, constantly wondering if you've missed something. The goal isn't to question yourself forever. It's to stay open without becoming trapped by uncertainty. Because truly intelligent people aren't those who are always certain. They're the ones who continue learning. And the moment your desire to understand becomes stronger than your fear of being wrong, your overthinking begins transforming into quiet wisdom. If there is one thing to remember after watching this video, it is this. Overthinking is not your greatest weakness. Believing every thought without questioning it is. The 7 signs we've explored today reveal something most people never realize. You notice what others miss. You feel deeply. You think before you speak. You recognize patterns. You ask meaningful questions. You learn from your mistakes. And you care more about understanding than simply being right. None of these qualities are flaws. When guided by awareness instead of fear, they become quiet strengths that shape the way you understand yourself and the world around you. The goal isn't to think less. It's to think with greater clarity. Because the strongest minds aren't the ones with the fewest thoughts. They're the ones that know which thoughts deserve their attention. If this video gave you a new perspective, comment the number 7 below. Let's see how many people have realized that overthinking isn't something to eliminate, it's something to understand, guide, and transform into your greatest strength.